So stress is being recorded as one of the main contributors to creating disease in the body, and obviously compromising the immune system. So stress comes in many different ways. It can come from external situations, or it can be internally driven through our psychology. And so the stress tends to have an impact more on the sympathetic nervous system, where we start to operate at a higher level. And that shifts our biological thresholds to a higher rate, and that then we start to operate at levels that are not giving the body the optimum chance or opportunity to recover and also discharge some of the stress. So one of the ways of actually negating some of these factors is through movement practices. Movement practices have a tendency on an energetic level to balance out and discharge some of the components that stress has on the body. And then on an emotional and also psychological level, you find that the body starts to also release some of the motivations and perceptions that it has about the stress and reality that exists, that the person exists in. Now, what also movement practices do, because I always considered that the nervous system is based on energetic rhythms, which in some circles you can consider to be prana, or chi. So movement practices help move the chi and the prana in your body. So an efficient and coordinated energetic system generally tends to then create an internal function that's much more efficient as well. And so when we think about the immune system, it's only a small part of a larger process that we also have to start to consider. So it does come down to choice, and it does come down to also the way we perceive life, but also how we manage the stress in our life as well. And so one of the best ways I think that we can regulate both our immune system, our nervous system, and also our emotions and psychology is through movement practices. But it's not just any movement practice. There has to be a level of mindfulness that's associated to the movement. And so when we think about mindful movement, it allows us then to encourage a couple of things. First, connect with the body and its condition that we're in now. It has a tendency to also negate some of our habituations that are set both physically, emotionally, and psychologically. And mindful movement also enables the mind to be much more expansive and take greater degree of context in and become more discerning. And so I think some of the practices that I teach in terms of to help the restoration of both one's biology, which incorporates the immune system, but also the psychology of the person, the movement or the practice has to be easy. And so when we consider the movement being a bit easier, it enables us to discharge some of that stress. And at the same time, it's about restoring balance between the two nervous system rhythms. And then finally, I think what easy movement has a tendency to do on a psychological level, it enables us to become more connected to our body in ways that are both much more intimate and sensitive to the needs that we have at that moment.